Hi, Canato. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, thank you.
Lovely. So, what I'm going to do, yeah, there, Ogin. Hi, Ogin. How are you feeling? How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having us.
Beautiful. So, before we get into the conversation, because we moved from a fantastic singer to a mermaid story, I'm going to share the story of the monster. But because it's a visual book, I'm going to share uh, the PDF or the digital copy of the book, and then open a dialogue with the two wonderful creators of it. With your permission, can we start? And as you listen, I want you all to go into a memory of your time, especially in the middle of the night, that you all stepped out of, into your balcony, into your little room, and that's where I'm going to take you for today. And this is just not one, but there are two little people who are spending time together. And as they're sitting together, one of them, of course, is Asamo, but you're not going to know who it is till we proceed. And you're going to choose who is the protagonist of the story. And one of them steps out and moves out and goes away into what I think is darkness. And as the person goes away, the other person is waiting and waiting and waiting. And after some time, a sound comes from far away. Human, come find me. How can human even find in the darkness? Who's going to switch on the light? No. But that's the beauty of darkness, right? Finding somebody. And human goes searching. The gadget that we all used when we were little children called the torch, I hope. And puts the light, and with the voice that's shrill in the night shouts, Asamo, Asamo. And then wait, there's something far away. There is something that the light discovers, and only the outline is there. And Umam is like confused. Asamo, is that you? This is not what I saw. This is not what was sitting next to me. This is what who was sitting next to me. Is that you? And then a little more clarity appears. What? Such long, stretchy legs that sticks to the walls. No, you're not Asamo. I mean, you're not the one who was with me a few minutes back. Again, start searching. Asamo, is that you? No, such tiny, teeny body and a background tummy. No. You are not Asamo. Newman is still not sure if this is Asamo. And then searches in another direction. And then finds another piece of a body. And looks closely to see who that could be. And that is a fuzzy, furry ball with a foot that is so quick. No, you're not Asamo. And then goes into another room and still finds something which definitely is not Asamo for human, and says, no, you're such a stoopy, droopy blob with a long, wild hair. And no, you are not Asamo. And goes a little further and finds and asks, Asamo, is that you? Short, yellow eyes and feathers that are so scratchy. And the sound of hoot. No, you are not Asamo. Asamo, where are you? With the frustration, your mum waits and waits and waits. And a voice appears. The magical voice when you're searching for somebody appears. Here I am, you mum. You mum, you mum. And the story goes on. And who are these 5 monsters? These 5 monsters have each one a different story by themselves. Ame Totoro from Arunachal, Guduru from Nagaland, Ichiribi Arunachal Pradesh, Tesham from Mizoram, Pokemon from Nagaland. Forgive me for my pronunciation because I'm not a native speaker and I come from the southern part of India. And with this, let me have the privilege and honor of introducing the two lovely creators of this wonderful work. First, introducing Canato Jimo. Canato is a picture book maker and a book designer. He moonlights as a musician and loves to guzzle tea or chai. You see, tea is an expression and chai is an emotion. And pop bubble wrap and is a recovering stationery addict. What stationery? We'll ask him soon. And Ogin Nayam is a visual artist from Arunachal Pradesh who thinks his day job is to daydream. He finds talking exhausting and prefers the company of his fictional world. We'll find out how exhausting it's going to get in a few minutes, but we'll make it as interesting. Welcome, Canato and Ogin, to talk more about your lovely creation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Vikram.
My first
Thank
question.
You it was amazing.
Welcome. My first question to both of you. Yeah, please go ahead. So my first question to both of you is, when you were little kids, did any of these monsters come into your houses? So start and others can continue.
Okay, you want to start?
I actually grew up with Ame Totoro and Chitrubu. Like, these are the stories my parents would tell me. But the one that I had an encounter with is something called Taco Copa. So, in back when I was a child, we used to live in a small house. So me and my siblings will sleep with our parents, and then our parents would be like, don't sleep too up, pillow se upar mat jao, otherwise Taco Kopak will come at night, and basically Taco Kopak is this monster who loves bananas, okay? And then at night he'll mistake your head for a banana and then he'll pull you. So whenever we would sleep like too upar, my parents would like I'm sure it was parents, but then yeah, that is what happened.
So the imagery was of a spider, is it? I mean, was there a physical?
No, it has no shape. It's just some monster that loves bananas and it'll like mistake your head for bananas. So you'll have to sleep thora niche.
Thank you for sharing that. Canato, yours?
So Gudur in the story is from it's a monster from my tribe in Nagaland, and I grew up with this. And when we were kids, Gudur is one of these monsters that parents usually scare the kids if they don't sleep. So they'd say that Gudru, and usually it's in the forest. Like most of our houses, like we live close to the forest. So our parents would say that Gudru would come and take you, and eat food. So we used to think it's like a bird, like an owl kind of, but we never knew like what it was. But we'd always be scared, and Gudru, I mean the sound itself, they make the sound to scare us, and which we kind of still do, like the scare kids.
Can you make the sound for us?
Gudru. So it's kind of it's a scare tactic actually. So we don't know how it looks like, and but we thought it was, since it sounds like a hoot, so we used to imagine it to be like a bird, and also that's how we kind of depicted in our picture book.
So when I was growing up, one of the characters was Kutichata, and then the other was a three-eyed man. So whenever you go to sleep, my grandmother would say, if you don't sleep, the three-eyed. So in Tamil, it's called Moonukannan. And we thought it was so scary of a three-eyed person, but actually nobody has three eyes. So just to make you sleep, how they create very interesting things and imagery to make you sleep. And I used to imagine this three-eyed man come at correctly at 12 o'clock, check on each door and see if the children are sleeping. Similarly, what do you think is the role of monsters in your native legends and laws for Nagaland and Arunachal?
Vikram, I lost you. Can you please repeat it?
So my question is, what do you think was the role of the role of monsters in our native legends and laws? Um the role that they play, and what do they transmit from generation to generation? Both Arunachal, Nagaland, and other tribes that you are aware of.
So for me, like in Nagaland and also from the tribe that I come from, I think a lot of since it was now the whole I think the whole of Nagaland is almost uh, all Christians, but before that we had this animistic belief, and we used to believe in uh, the power of nature, and that there was a force, and we would worship nature, those things. So everything that we see around, it had spirit, and I think that that kind of that's this general belief we have. So everything that we see, it could be the trees, it could be the animals, it could be whatever you see around in nature. They all had spirits, and I think we grew up with that idea. So a lot of these monsters that we talk about, and that we also grew up with, I think has had this connection with yeah with nature and with the belief that we had. And all these monsters, for example, like Guduru or Pokemon, is also from another tribe, but we also have a different version of it. And so all these things, I think it's very intrinsic to what we believe in, and uh, yeah, that's my take on it.
Thank you. Ogin?
So in Arunachal, modern monsters, it's mostly spirit based. So even the monsters are, we call them we as in spirits. And then the whole philosophy of Arunachal is like, if you make a triangle, the triangle of Arunachal philosophy, the humans are subse niche, and over humans they are the spiritual realm. And then we believe that, like, everything is equal. Even like stones, for example, we believe it has life because all throughout life it keeps on changing its shape and form. So and mostly these monster spirits are forest based, and many of them are somehow a warning for you to not venture into forest and get missing. And then there's a certain monster called the Yapum, and they live in the forest, and they kind of, trap you and get your soul, and then you kind of lose that whole sense of time somehow. You're lost in that realm. And then there are news of people getting really captured by Yapom, and they have no memory of it, and they go missing for like 4 months, 8 months. Did I answer the question? So basically, yeah, it's mostly spiritual, and it's mostly to respect forest and be in balance with forest.
Lovely. How common is it for most of our folk tales and laws around India to connect back to nature? How flora and fauna play such an important role in connecting back to our nature, and how these legends and laws tell us again and again the same thing in different ways.
That's true.
And with that, in terms of the book, how was it converting an oral lore? Because monsters and many of the laws that you all shared, both of you shared, is sitting in an oral and a in the head of our ancestors and the world around us. How was it converting that into a physical? The process in bringing out Asamo Is That You?
Okay, yeah.
The whole character designing of the characters went through a journey. Okay, when I first came to Delhi and then started, you know, collaborating with Canato. So initially it wasn't Linocut. Initially we were doing some traditional work, and then we did lots of character designing. And then at a point, Linocut came into the whole, uh, and then
Picture.
it completely, the whole book kind of started from there. And then, so when you read the book, there are certain descriptions written about each character, right? And to be honest, we only have those certain characters and a little bit of a background of those monsters, because most of the monsters are not seen by anybody. It's just an entity that you're aware of. And Tuturubu, for example, it's a sound. Basically, in a village, you hear Tuturubu at night, and then incidentally next morning somebody in the village has died. So basically it's not a very good omen, the whole Tuturubu sound. And the only thing about Tuturubu is the sound. That was what I was working with. And then I took the whole creative freedom and gave Tuturubu the droopy mouth and the long hair.
So with all of these characters that we did, like some, both of us were aware of, we picked from our own culture, but we also wanted to, expand this horizon of, monsters. So we also did our little research. We talked to our friends, and we brought in more monsters to make it even more fun. But all of these, as you said, yes, they are just all oral traditions or something that we just uh, describe to a kid, and there is no actual form that you could refer to. So we did take a lot of artistic liberty to create these things, and also at some point we were also a little worried, like this is something that the kids we've never seen, and every kid has their own version of Guduru or Pokemon, and so there was a little worry, like if we give a form to it, will it really affect their imagination also? That was one fear we had. But I think the way we have. So, for example, as I was saying about Guduru, in my head it was something close to an owl. So I gave those the feathers and the eyes. Or Pokemon is supposed to live in the roof. So someone that's hanging, and then I put naga motifs into the character. I don't have anyone looking like that, but so we took a lot of artistic liberty to just create, and make it fun, and even for the reader, be it children or adults, whoever it is, just help them get into this world, introduce them to this world, and also get a little taste of the cultures that we come from, and yeah, so that's how it happened.
Which you have. I mean, as we wait for a question from the attendees also, so I'm going to ask the next question is about like how you said children and adults. What do you want them to take away from the book? I mean, you did mention about the land that you come from. Is there anything else or more that you want children of today, 2021 especially, to take away from
So for me, when creating picture books, of course, you keep in mind who the reader is and who the audience is, but more importantly, it's just creating a story. And for Ogin and I, he came to Delhi for this project, and we worked on it together, and we just had a blast. Like we had really good time working on this. We really had fun, and hopefully uh, came out good. And so that was our way of expressing how we felt about this. And both of us love monsters, things that are dark, and we kind of shared that. So we thought, like, let's create a book of monsters, and we grew up with. Even though I think monsters, it's not so much there is fear, but more than fear, I think there is this fascination of like what it is. Even though we're scared, we're always fascinated by it, and so we wanted to share that with people. But more importantly, we were having fun. So it's more like sharing our fun with people. So even the book, the way it ends, we kind of made it very open ended, so anybody can give whoever the reader is can give the way it ends. They can give their own twist to it, and create a new story. And so that way, and one anecdote is we were trying to get the names for the characters, and this was so since we're talking about monsters, are they real? Are they not? So we both of us came up with, so Asamo is actually dream in my language, and Yumum is dream in Ogin's language. So that's how we just we've not it's not explained or anything. It's just one thing we decided to do it. So the whole book could be a dream, or it could be something we don't know. I mean, it's left to the reader to take it forward. So yeah.
I think Kana summed up like everything I wanted to say. We basically had a lot of fun, and I honestly, I went there and I was like, Kana sir, and then I became a Canato. So I'm sorry, he became Kana to me. So that much fun I had, and I just hope people reading it would experience that.
Lovely. I mean, that also gels with the question from Smith Zaveri, who's asking, love this visual language of the book. And as two artists with such distinct styles, how do you divide the work or rather collaborate to create something so seamless?
When I entered this collaboration, when Kana first spoke to me, I was very excited about the collaboration, but like first thing first, I told Kana, I'm not a writer. I cannot write. That's not how I function. So you have to take care of the writing. And then, so basically collaboration, Linocut was the king of this book. So basically Linocut happened. And then, so we divided the monsters, and Kana was doing 3 monsters. So I told him, okay, I'll do the 2 monsters and I'll do the Asamo and Jimo. And that's how we divided. And then somehow later it all came together.
Oh
And to be honest,
yeah.
I want, yeah, the whole Lino card, we were so excited about it, but at the same time, we knew we have to go through a workshop because none of us have tried it. So it was also an experiment for us, the whole visual language of the book. We went through a lot of experiment. We went to Linocard shopping also, and we had no idea what we were buying, but we bought everything, and we just, Kanake Ghar pe, we sat and then tried everything. It was fun.
So yeah, when it came to deciding like who will do what, I think as Ogin said, we decided to do Lino cut. It's because we love the texture that it gives, and also the colors, that we can experience it with. So one of us, we new to Lino cut, but we took our time, learning how to do it, and we really wanted the texture of Lino cut to come in this book. And Lino cut as a medium, I think it is very strong as a medium, and when we tried it and when it came together, even though our styles were different, it kind of gelled. And of course, we had a few tweaks here and there to make sure that it looked seamless. But we also kind of retained our own distinctness in a way. I don't know if you can see it when you look at the book, but then there is a certain, but yeah, at the end, it came out. I think both of us, even though we were different illustrators, it came out quite well for the book. So we were quite happy at the end.
Wow. But that's a beauty of collaboration. I mean, we co-learn, we unlearn, and the journey, and that the result is like mind-boggling for me, which I could definitely see in the output. A question from Aparna, where she's asking, do the monsters in the land generally have gender, or is it upon the parents to sort of give it, what does gender play with the monsters in the lands?
At least for Guduru, I don't think we have any gender given to it. But I think there are monsters in our folklores and our mythology where there are certain genders and they have a certain role. For example, we have a monster which rules the forest, and it's a lady, and it controls the whole animal kingdom. And so there are certain monsters like that, but the ones that I know, like for example, Guduru and Kimon, I don't think there is any gender assigned to them, and we did not really grow up with assigning them like it's a he or a she. So.
In Arunachal, there's a very clear distinction of male and female, but you also have to understand, if you get come across books of folk tales from Arunachal Pradesh, it's not just male and female. There are animals involved. There are even the sun and moon is sun to us as female and moon is male. At the same time, there are stories where sun is both male and female. So there is clear distinction, but then there are so much more to than just male and female.
Oh, lovely. So we have over 2 minutes. So my question was, in 2021, do you know any new monster that has been created? Sometimes we call it pandemic monster, because in many parts of the country we have deities created for corona. We have corona deities. So is there a monster for that's been? If you've heard somebody use them.
Well, you're giving me an idea to create a new monster.
because that's the beauty of the oral literature, right? every times when things change in the world, it comes up with beautiful creations for the next generation. That's where so if you hear of somebody somewhere like that, maybe the next book seed is already put.
Yeah, thank you. We'll think about it and see.
Lovely. So any last thoughts, last words before we say bye to Asamo and the monsters world? And definitely, who was watching this, go back to your childhood, because in today's time when electricity is everywhere, a monster relationship is somewhere changing. Darkness has such beautiful ways to connect to these lovely things in nature, and sometimes these stories tell us we don't have to enter all the world in the world, like the natural world, and monsters keep them safe. Any last words from both?
Just one word, when we initially had this idea of doing a book on monsters, we were also how will people react to it, or will people like it, and especially for parents, because if parents usually buy the books for the kids, and they curate. So will this work? And I guess some still find it okay, this is a little too much for the kids. But I feel that growing up, I think, as I said earlier also, as much as there's scary, there's always, when we're talking about these things, there's always fascination. And that's what we wanted to build on. Just as a reader, it could be a child or an adult, just bring that fascination of, something that's not what you see every day, and something it could be imaginary, it could be something, fantastical, and monsters are such, and it always makes you, as a reader also, makes you wonder. So that's how we approach the book. So yeah, this very sensitive issue of talking about things like this and giving it to children. I feel my last word is that just to be open to it and see, I say this because my nieces love this book. The book that I gave them is already torn, and I have to get a new copy for them. So it's of course it's very subjective, but then you create something, and there's a beautiful story there, and I'm sure they will be takers. So yeah, that's my last word.
Thanks, Ogin.
I had similar concerns about if the book will be, accepted or understood by kids. But then at the same time, I am done underestimating kids. And like they have certain, what do you call it, perception of things that we don't have. So, and plus Kana sent me a video of her niece loving it. And then it just cleared everything for me. And also, I want to add, like, I'm done with this reality. I want to live with Asamo and Jimo so bad. Can I go there?
Thank you. Like I said, never underestimate the power of children, because when we think we know, they fascinate us. And I mean, having been sharing space with children, I think there's so much that we've lost as adults, and we need to go back, and there's brilliant ways, even as adults, to go back to children's literature and experience the simple joys of just being there. Thank you to both of you, and I hope personally I will get to meet you and sit and talk about monsters in the land itself. Fingers crossed. Thank you, Canato.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.